Hey everybody, this is Coach Allison, and I have week 30 Defy Aging to run through with you today. We have a ladder routine. Some of you might remember what our ladder routine entails. So you begin with a low rep count, and every set increases those reps until you get to your max, and we're going to cap that out at 12. And then you reduce the reps on the way back down. So you're going up a ladder and back down. You'll be working in your own space this week. You're not going to be rotating around stations. You're going to have your own equipment in your own space, going at your own pace. We're going to set a 25-minute max for this routine. So some might finish in 25 minutes, some might not. You just go for the 25 minutes. The reps we're going to do are beginning, like I said, you start at a low rep count. We're starting with 3. So you'll run through all the exercises for 3 reps. You'll start at the top of the list, and then you run through for 6, and then 9, and then 12. So clearly we're doing like a 3 increment increase. And then you go back down. So it goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 9, 6, 3. All right, let's review our exercises. Exercise 1 is a curl to a press. So we're going to be working biceps and shoulders. Weight in each hand. We come up with a standard bicep curl, and then we go into an overhead press. So notice how I turn the palms forward as I press them overhead, and then kind of bring them back the same way. So don't overthink it. It should flow pretty smoothly. I'll do a couple reps so you can see how I'm doing it nice and smooth, not too fast, not too slow. All right, and that is our curl press. Okay, team, exercise 2 is a jump squat. This is a relatively advanced movement. It's cardiovascular. It's strengthening, but it's plyometric. That's the word I couldn't think of. Plyometric refers to anything that has kind of a springiness or a jump to it, for lack of a better explanation. So we go into a standard squat, which most of you know because we do them a lot. Sink the hips back. Don't allow the knees to travel too far forward. Okay, that's our squat. We're going to attempt to add a jump, and it's a soft jump, but it doesn't have to be too big. Watch my feet. Coming just a little bit off the floor. But notice my landing. That's very important with a jump squat. When you land, you want to go immediately down into the next squat, as opposed to landing with straight legs, stiff legs, kind of jarring the knees and adding a pause. So what we don't want to do is this. Okay, and instead, nice and smooth. I like to joke that, hey, it gets them done faster when you do it that way, but it is safer on your knees. So if the impact, it is very gentle impact. But again, if that still is not agreeing with your knees, turn this into a fast squat. So if this is my normal squat speed, a fast squat is going to look like that. So you're adding a little bit of a tempo, increased tempo, and that's going to be just as challenging cardiovascularly and muscularly. It's just not going to have that plyometric effect because we're taking out the jump. So you work your level on that, and that is our jump squat. Okay, team, next exercise, high plank hand tap. We've done partner exercise before where you clap your partner's hand. We're not doing that. You're tapping your own hand. So you're in a high plank, which doesn't have anything to do with how high your body is. It means you're on your hands and not your elbows. So hips level. So we're trying to avoid steeple hips. Okay, we're also trying to avoid sunken hips, so hips level. And I guess I should turn to the front to show you this. And very smoothly controlled, reaching over to tap the other hand. So the rep count for this is going to be each side. So for example, for our 3 rep round, it'll be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Now, we're trying to avoid too much turning and twisting of the hips when we lift up one hand. You can definitely do this one on knees. Now, if you're doing knees, make sure you're not in a tabletop like this, because I have full support here. I'm not engaging my core, but instead, sink those hips down. See how now I'm in that diagonal? Now you're going to feel those core muscles. And of course, you can take this up to an incline, put your hands on a box or a bench, and do this on a bench. Next exercise, 2-point row. We do this one quite often. It's a back exercise. So you're kind of working your back here on one side and then the rear delt, the back of the shoulder. So the weight, the side with the weight, that leg goes back. And you're sort of using that front leg to stabilize yourself. So I'm putting a little bit of maybe 30 or 40% of my body weight on this leg just for stabilization. You can choose to come up and not put your hand on your leg. That's going to incorporate some more core muscles. So it's really up to you and the level you're at. Taking that hand away from the leg will force a little more core stability engagement. Back's nice and flat. I don't mean, flat to the, parallel to the floor. It just means we don't have a hunch in the back. So you want your back at maybe about 45 degrees. Pull that weight up and slightly back. So notice how the bottom bell is going kind of towards my hip bone. That's the angle we want. We don't want it coming up to the armpit, but we're not doing like straight back like that. It's okay to get a little bit of a twist as you pull that weight up. That's just activating a little more of the back muscles, so that is just fine. For that, the count is, of course, reps on each side. So 3 reps right, 3 reps left, and so on. All right, next exercise is a hip bridge. So you're going to feel this in your glutes and your hamstrings, maybe some calf. Some people feel the calf. Knees are bent. You can keep your head down. You want your palms facing up, however, as opposed to palms down, and that's a little bit of the shoulder stability and safety. But it is a lower body exercise. We're going to lift the hips up, pause, down, up, pause, and down. Do try to get a 1 to 2 second pause in there. Now, when your hips are back in the down position, we don't want to fully rest down. You just want to tap the floor and come right back up. So you're only putting about 10 to 20% of your weight actually on the floor, as opposed to 100% just lying there. So up, pause, tap the floor. Up, tap the floor. Now, if getting to the floor is not desirable for you, let me pull this back up. I probably made you sick or dizzy. Sorry about that. You're going to do a kettlebell deadlift for an alternative option. I know it looks very different, but it does target the same muscle groups. So that is why this is the alternate, because this is also a glute and hamstring exercise. We do these often. Slight bend in your knees. Hinge your hips back, or hinge at your hips. I should say your hips go back. Back is nice and flat. Again, we never want a rounded back like this. But the important thing here is the hip hinge. So watch my hips. They start here. They're going to end about here because I'm drifting them back. And that is where the magic happens with the deadlift. So hip bridge on the floor or a kettlebell deadlift for an alternate option. Final exercise, band side steps. This is a hip exercise. It's very important the band is in the center of the shoe. If you have arches in your shoes, put the band in the arch of the shoe. Slight pull up just a little to create a little bit of tension. And the count is going to be all in one direction and then all in the other, as opposed to continually alternating. So that way you get some repetition going on each side. So for example, the 3-set round, I'm going to step right 1, 2, 3, do all 3 to that direction, and then do all 3 to that direction. So you want to make sure you keep a slight bend in your knees. Notice how I have a soft bend in my knees. Okay, I'm not locking them in straight. You don't have to do a squat, just soft bend. I know the 9 and the 12 rep sets will take quite a bit of space because you're gonna have to do 12 steps one way, 12 the other. So that's fine. You can navigate. You're at your own pace on this routine. You can navigate around your turf area and find some space where you have enough room to do 9 or 12 steps at a time. So it should work just fine. But yeah, so again, the reps that was everything. The reps are 3, 6, 9, 12, 9, 6, 3. That is our ladder. Hope you enjoy this week's workout, and we'll see you back for week 31.